All right, so what's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 12 Off the Record with k.jachimowicz. It's been like 2 weeks since I recorded an episode, and there's been so much going on and so much stuff I want to talk about. Literally, I'll just literally list a few things right now. RFK Jr. talking about his granddaughter possibly getting a role to release more JFK documents and how he believes the CIA was involved in JFK's assassination. Just blatantly outright saying it. I don't know how long he's been saying that, but it's like really at the forefront in the media now that the inauguration's coming up in a month or two or whatever. The Google Willow quantum chip and how that could potentially converge against Bitcoin way down the road or not. All these weird mysteries about these New Jersey and in Pennsylvania, and apparently someone in China tonight or a day ago, I don't remember how many hours ago exactly, was arrested for flying a drone over some United States military space or something and taking photos, got caught with everything. I want to talk about how Bitcoin's crossed 100K a few times now. The CEO assassination situation in New York, wherever, I think it was Manhattan, wherever specifically. The Hawk Tua girl doing a freaking rug pull on some idiotic meme coin, and Trump doing the New York Stock Exchange bell tomorrow at market open and getting Time Mag Person of the Year. I'm excited to see that photo for sure. I'm really curious to see what angle they take with the headline of the title of the cover too. And I'm really curious to see the photo. Like I said, I doubt they're just going to use, they're not just going to rehash a photo. They're going to do a photo shoot. I'm real curious to see how they do it with everything that's happened over the past few years. So I was thinking about doing multiple episodes, but I'm just going to jump all over the place and talk about all this stuff. So let's talk about the Willow quantum chip by Google, its potential to reshape industries, and etc. Quantum computing sounds like science fiction, but it's becoming more and more of a reality for the future. With Google's new Willow chip, they're making massive strides in this revolutionary tech, or at least claiming to. So what is the Willow chip? Willow is Google's latest attempt to tackle error correction, the Achilles heel of quantum computing. It's the backbone for creating stable, scalable quantum systems capable of solving problems classical computers can't even dream of. Think logistics optimization and even breaking encryption. The Willow chip claims to cut error rates exponentially, meaning we're closer to achieving practical quantum systems than ever before. So there's an arms race here, like an impact on cybersecurity. Whoever dominates quantum computing can disrupt global cybersecurity frameworks. Encryption as we know it could be obsolete. This is probably far in the future, but it raises questions. Like, how ethical is it to unleash something with such disruptive potential? Are we prepared for the consequences of quantum tech falling into the wrong hands? This is something I really want to get into about this, where two things. The Willow chip and its potential interactions with Bitcoin and the encryption protocols represent a fascinating convergence of quantum computing and blockchain technology, though any significant conflicts or developments may still be decades or hundreds of years away, thousands, I don't know. Google's latest breakthrough in quantum computing, the Willow chip. So Hartmut Nevin, the founder and lead of Google Quantum AI, I may have said his name incorrectly, I'm not 100% sure, stated this week that Willow's extraordinary performance, capable of performing in minutes tasks that would take supercomputers billions of years, could be explained by the concept of parallel universes. Quote, the performance of the Willow chip was so phenomenally fast that it had to have borrowed the computation from parallel universes, Nevin said in a blog post on Google's website. The idea that parallel universes may play a role in quantum computing isn't new, but Nevin's statement marked the first time a major tech executive linked his company's achievements to the multiverse theory. According to Nevin, the chip performed a computational task that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years in under 5 minutes. Quote, this mind-boggling number exceeds known timescales in physics and vastly exceeds the age of the universe, Nevin wrote. Nevin even suggested that Willow's extraordinary performance lends credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes, in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse, a concept first proposed by physicist David Deutsch. I may be saying his name incorrectly also. But so tech companies are like racing to develop quantum computers that can solve these insanely complex problems far beyond the reach of traditional computers or any human being. And unlike digital computers that use zeros and ones, quantum computers use qubits, which operate under the principles of quantum mechanics to process information at much higher speeds. Qubits can be 0, 1, or both at once, and they also use quantum entanglement, a link between particles that remain connected regardless of distance. Beyond speed, Willow addresses a major challenge in quantum computing: error correction. Quantum systems are prone to errors because qubits are fragile and can be disturbed by even the smallest environmental changes. Traditionally, adding more qubits increases the likelihood of errors, but Google says Willow's design addresses this problem. Quote, "The particular calculation in question is to produce a random distribution. The result of this calculation has no practical use," said physicist Sabine Hassenfelder in a post on X discussing Google's announcement. She also noted that Google's similar 2019 quantum supremacy claim was challenged by IBM, which later demonstrated that a conventional computer could perform the same task under specific conditions. So there are people that are skeptical of this, and there's definitely a sentiment that I've seen that it'll be a long time till this is like a threat to something such as Bitcoin, but I'll get deeper into that momentarily. However, the theory has found traction among some scientists and enthusiasts who see it as a plausible extension of quantum mechanics. Many worlds interpretation, a theory that posits every possible outcome of a quantum event happens in a separate, parallel universe. Regardless of the multiverse debate, Willow's success puts Google at the forefront of the race for quantum supremacy. Soon after the announcement, Google stock jumped more than 5%, having an immediate impact. I mean, I'm pretty interested in this myself. Like, I'm pretty amazed. I wasn't even really paying much attention to this. I was distracted with other things, so I was just shocked and surprised by this kind of random announcement of a breakthrough. And second, Willow performed a standard benchmark computation in under 5 minutes that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers. I know I said this, I think, 10 septillion years. Like that exceeds the age of the universe. And this is like these qubits are tiny electrical circuits exhibiting quantum behavior at extremely low temperatures. These circuits are engineered to function like artificial atoms in a quantum state. To maintain these delicate quantum states, the qubits are cooled to temperatures just above absolute zero. This minimizes vibrations and other disturbances that could disrupt the qubits and introduce errors in calculations. Google sees Willow as an important step in its journey to build a useful quantum computer with applications in areas such as drug discovery, fusion energy, and battery design. So this is something I wanted to get to. And hopefully I didn't take too long boring people with a whole bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo, but how it converges maybe against Bitcoin cryptography. So Bitcoin primarily relies on two cryptographic components: the SHA-256 hashing algorithm and elliptic curve digital signature algorithm, ECDSA. Quantum computers pose a theoretical threat to both, but in different ways. Quantum algorithms like Grover's can reduce the effective security of SHA-256, but even with this speed up, quantum computers would need an enormous number of stable qubits to make brute forcing viable, far beyond current capabilities. Similarly, Shor's algorithm could theoretically break ECDSA by efficiently factoring large numbers, but implementing it would also require millions of stable, error-corrected qubits. Current quantum computers like IBM's 127-qubit system are orders of magnitude away from this capacity. So estimates suggest that breaking Bitcoin's cryptography could become plausible by the 2030s or beyond if quantum computing advances rapidly. I don't think that's going to happen, and the sentiment and argument on Bitcoin side is that Bitcoin developers and etc. are already exploring post-quantum cryptographic methods, and that they're like ahead of that race in that way. A transition to quantum-resistant algorithms such as lattice-based cryptography could secure Bitcoin well before such threats materialize. The challenge lies in scaling these methods within Bitcoin's decentralized network. So the Willow chip itself, being a high-performance quantum or advanced AI processing unit, as inferred, could accelerate theoretical or indirect developments in this field. However, its real impact will depend on how it's applied in practice, such as optimizing current blockchain systems or modeling quantum-resistant protocols rather than directly threatening Bitcoin. So in summary, while the convergence of technologies like the Willow chip and Bitcoin could theoretically create challenges or conflict, current projections and preparations suggest that the threat is still, I would say, decades away. Like, I don't think it's something we have to worry about very immediately. And Bitcoin's adaptability and ongoing cryptographic advancements make its long-term security achievable, provided proactive measures continue, which I believe they will, especially with the type of backing and interest and et cetera that's going on there now. And yeah, Bitcoin finally hit six figures. It's probably still over 100K right now. I'll literally check, just give it accurate, honest. 101,109. So yeah, still six digits. And like institutional investments are surging on that. Policies have eased. And yeah, I mean, it's become more than a store of value. It's a hedge against traditional finance and inflation. I think crypto's legacy is definitely finally clear. I think you're going to have tons of people that were not previously interested or anything prior are now going to be dumping money into it, or at least paying close attention to it probably, and that's just a domino effect too. That's just going to swell up in general, and I can already see that it is to a certain degree. I mean, I can't speak for how long that'll last, but I mean, like the big run-ups, but it's outperforming traditional assets across time frames. Like investing $25 weekly in Bitcoin would have turned like $675 into $1,000, while gold increased just like almost 6% a year. Apple gained like 10%. The Dow Jones delivered a little over 7%. Or sorry, that's a 6 months lookout. But over a year, like with a total investment of $1,325 in Bitcoin, $1,325, your portfolio would now be $2,140 in a 1 year span, reflecting a 61.5% return. By comparison, gold increased by 14.5%, Apple increased by 22.8%, Dow Jones grew by 11.36%. I could go on with the years and et cetera, but I will go on with one more. The 4 year, the long-term case is even stronger, which is harder to do for certain people probably, like if you over leverage, but the long-term, so a 4 year case, $5,250 investment 4 years ago would now be worth 15 grand basically. And that's representing a 184% return. In the same period, gold increased by 37%, Apple by 54%, Dow Jones by 27%. So like to me, this is like why the timing in the market doesn't matter. It's like your time in the market that matters. Like for investors hesitant about entering, it's important to understand Bitcoin's long-term performance just totally speaks for itself. Like, yeah, there's dips, and that's fine. You'll get used to that if you get into this. And it's not financial advice, of course, but historical data shows that just dollar cost averaging strategy minimizes the risk of market timing completely, pretty much, while amplifying your returns over time. And even small regular investments compound significantly as Bitcoin appreciates if you're taking this type of strategy. So why I think you're still early. The global adoption of Bitcoin is still kind of in its infancy, in a way. Despite this incredible performance, Bitcoin's total market cap is small compared to traditional asset classes. This means there's still serious room for growth as more individuals, institutions, governments, etc. recognize its utility and future value. Like the president, I think he's the president of El Salvador, has literally been posting screenshots of his portfolio on X of just having like tens of billions of dollars in Bitcoin, just like flexing on people with like laughing emojis. It's like insanity. Um, Despite Bitcoin's impressive track record of outperforming gold in returns, its market cap at the time of writing only stands at about 11% of gold's market cap. So this highlights the serious growth potential. And it's also funny, like I didn't even realize that the Bitcoin versus gold thing was such a war. Like I wasn't even like really aware of this until I like started really diving deep into the crypto X trenches. And just like researching everything all the time. And I'm a big geek and this stuff is way over my head, a lot of it. Uh just to say. But and so for Bitcoin to reach parity with gold, it would need to increase 9 times, a little over 9 times, translating to a projected price of about $934,541 per Bitcoin. This price target is in line with recent forecasts, including Eric Trump's confident projection that Bitcoin price will reach 1 million, stated just days ago at the Abu Dhabi Bitcoin conference, which also is like, there's serious money at a conference like that. Like, you know what I mean? That's watching, and thinking about what they want to do with all that. So conclusion, time to act is now. Not financial advice. And yeah, with crypto and Bitcoin in general, like you really have to do intense research. You have to go deep in the trenches and you need to source every opinion and thought and whatever and analysis and chart that you need to see from every side and angle and viewpoint. But I'm not one of these people that's just like gets like completely like, I see a lot of people get very like hype driven with stocks. And yeah, like I'm a human being. I get like emotional and stuff too here and there with investments. Like I'm human. But like you want to explore everyone's opinion because you don't want to just be on this side that thinks it's going straight up forever with any investment, period. The reason I say that is because like there's analysts that predict Bitcoin is going to be 250K by some point in 2025. There's people that warn there's going to be a major correction, and that's people on both sides. There's like Bitcoin maximalists that think it's going to fly to the moon, and there's others that think it might have a sharp dip for whatever reason. And then there's the people that are all into gold that hate Bitcoin because it's probably a threat to their bottom line or whatever. And like Bitcoin breaking 100K really isn't just a financial milestone. It's like a cultural, psychological, etc. milestone, and also just about like what it says about like the public's trust in traditional systems. And you can let me know your own take on that if you feel like it or if you listen to this far. So like the next thing I'll talk about briefly, because I don't even want to like go dive knee deep into this, but like just the whole thing about the prominent healthcare CEO who got like assassinated in, I mean, I guess it wasn't broad daylight, but early in the morning in Manhattan, I believe. And there's just like, there is some weird details around that. But it's kind of crazy for me just seeing that happen. It's just such a testament to like where the country's at and how screwed over young people feel in multiple different deep ways. And like that dude, I can't even remember his name already, man. God damn. Oh, Luigi. I don't know how I forgot his name. He's got like a freaking Italian like movie character name, but this guy Luigi Mangione or whatever it is. Yeah, like I guess he broke his spine surfing in Hawaii and then like went AWOL from his family for a year or two, and now we're here. But it's like it's sad because it's like, man, I can almost, I'm not trying to sympathize with what this dude did. Don't take it like that. But like I've broken my back, and like it's hard for me to not feel bad because I just like, I'm sure he's been going through something extreme internally for a long time. And it's, yeah, when you get hurt like that when you're young, you feel like you got robbed. And I guess he had a whole ton of other stuff going on with his family's healthcare, like his grandparents or something. And I mean, he obviously had a major grudge against like the healthcare system. And it's also crazy for me. I'm not trying to like out anybody, but he goes to the undergrad school or whatever that my fiance's law mission. But yeah, it's insane, man. Like crazy. I'm not even gonna get into conspiracies about that because I don't even feel like it's necessary right now. But yeah, and for him to like, it's wild that he's just like this jacked Ivy League dude, and he's like turned into a straight up hitman like behavior. Like, is really just crazy as hell. And so this is a big left turn or whatever, but I'm only talking about this too for like 1 minute because this is idiotic. But the Hawk Tua girl does a freaking meme coin called Hawk or something. She's got millions of followers, right? Like launches this token with like all these like kind of like fake like crypto insiders. And yo, you guys, if you get involved in this, be careful. Everyone's out for themselves, and all these people are out to influence you with this stuff and make you make bad decisions and get you to FOMO into something. It's nuts. But so she's linked up with like, I can't even remember this one dude's name, and then this other dude like Doc Hollywood, who I think is like the son or the stepson of like that I can't remember. I think it's that what's that guy's name? Hold up. Howie Mandel. I think he's Howie Mandel's stepson. And yo, I'm not even trying to like defame these people or talk about these people, but she sets up this coin with this guy and these people. I don't like know exactly what their business setup was. Like, I don't know these people, but it's just classic rug pull tactics. Like, they just overhyped it, inflated the token's value, and cashed out like instantly. like investors were just immediately left holding the bag. Like CoffeeZilla, all these other like YouTube investigator types, instantly just went on Spaces on X and just called everything out. Like that FaZe Banks dude called them all out too. And then they just went and deleted like everything off X, the people who ran this scam. And the Hawk Tua girl, I don't even want to say her name because I'm not trying to get freaking people running after me, but like with lawsuit bullshit. Like freaking, yo, she literally says in the Twitter space, or X space, excuse me, I'm not saying that old name anymore. She literally says, all right, guys, like someone's in the middle of asking her, like, what the fuck's going on with this? Someone who was like involved in it. And she's literally just like, all right, guys, I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And she just signed off X forever. Never went back on and said anything. It's been like a week. Like, it's like, where is she? She's going to is she going to get arrested? Is she going to go to jail? It's like, dude, it's one thing to screw around, like influencing people and fucking around with like just trying to get people to like, do like, when you're dealing with finances, like financial like investments, like you don't want to play with that. Like if you don't know what the fuck you're like doing. And it's clear to me that like she was likely used as the face of this scam that someone else was running. Like she may not have, like, she probably doesn't understand anything to do with crypto at all, because I'm studying this shit like full time and I'm having trouble understanding a lot of it. So there is no way in hell the Hawk Tua girl is a fucking cryptography freaking professional. There's 0%, there's a negative chance of that. So the next thing I wanted to touch on that is real weird is these drone like mystery situation that's going on in the Northeast. It started. So I actually saw one of my buddies post a picture of one of these drones or planes, whatever these are. And I thought he was just like admiring some plane overhead, or I didn't even know. I was like confused. And then I started seeing like all this kind of conspiratorial-esque stuff on X, and started piecing stuff together and reading about this, and how like residents in New Jersey, Staten Island, some in PA, just reporting nightly drone activity. And at this point, it seems like a lot of it is probably counter activity, like from our own government trying to figure out what the hell's going on or what was going on. But like there's these weird videos on Twitter, and there's these there's photographers that had like 300 millimeter lenses that were taking these photos, and people saying that these crafts are like going dark as soon as you get an eye on them, or like it is like so much weird shit going on with this. And it's not like fake. Like this isn't like some AI video. Like this is like really happening. Like and so tonight I want to find this article, because this is like kind of, it needs to be specific. So tonight someone gets arrested in Cali for this. What did I do with this article? But so first of all, so New Jersey called a limited state of emergency either yesterday or today, I believe, the past few days, I guess. But like they've been holding hearings, and the FBI literally, and all these other, politicians and leaders, whoever, have no idea like what happened here. People are spewing what seems to be false rumors, saying that it's like that Iran set up like some crazy East Coast like drone, pad, like I don't even know what the hell you would call it. But there's so much stuff swirling about this. Like Homeland Security doesn't know what's going on. Like it's insane. And so I guess the Pentagon shot down the claim about it being like an Iran mothership. That was the word they used. And so, I mean, that could have just been total BS. But, here we go. So this is tonight. Northern California man arrested for allegedly flying drone over and photographing Vandenberg Space Force Base. And this could be unrelated, could be a kind of copycat, but I don't know. This is sketchy. So Los Angeles, Northern California man, and this is from justice.gov. This ain't no BS article from nobody with bias. Northern California man has been arrested on a federal criminal complaint for allegedly flying a drone over and taking photographs of Vandenberg Space Force Base, the Justice Department announced today. Yinpao Zhao, or Zhou, is probably how it's pronounced, I don't know, 39 of Brentwood, is charged with failure to register an aircraft, not providing transportation, in violation of national defense airspace. Zhou was arrested Monday at San Francisco International Airport prior to boarding a China-bound flight, and made his initial appearance Tuesday in the United States District Court in San Francisco. He remains in federal custody pending prosecutors' appeal of a federal magistrate judge's decision to release him. No plea was taken, and his arraignment is expected to be scheduled in U.S. District Court in Los Angeles in the coming weeks. Quote, this defendant allegedly flew a drone over a military base and took photos of the base's layout, which is against the law, said U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada. The security of our nation is paramount importance, and my office will continue to promote the safety of our nation's military personnel and facilities. According to an affidavit filed on December 8 with the complaint, on November 30th, 24, drone detection systems at Vandenberg Space Force Base in Santa Barbara County detected a drone flying over the base as well. The drone systems detected that the drone flew for nearly 1 hour, traveled to an altitude of almost 1 mile above ground level, and originated from Ocean Park, a public area next to the base. Base security personnel went to the park, spoke with Zhou and another person accompanying him, and learned that he had a drone concealed in his jacket, the same one that flew over the base. They later searched his drone pursuant to a federal search warrant, and saw several photographs of Vandenberg Space Force Base taken from an aerial viewpoint. A search of his cell phone also showed he conducted a Google search approximately 1 month earlier about the drone rules there, and conducted with other people about hacking his drone to allow it to fly higher than it should be. He's a Chinese citizen and lawful permanent resident of the United States, most recently returning to the United States from China on February 2024. The person accompanying him at Ocean Park most recently entered the U.S. from China on November 26, and the FBI is investigating all of this. If convicted, he can face a maximum sentence of 4 years. So I don't know if he's like just a random outlier, like hopping on this trend of all this crazy drone shit, or if he's or if this is like some crazy like full court press that like is happening to our country for some weird reason that I could never give you a factual perfect explanation to off the top of my head. And so the final topic I really want to talk about that I'm kind of like really intrigued by. I mean, this might be like old news to a lot of people maybe that are like into politics. I don't know. But I just never really dived super deep into RFK Jr.'s opinions on his uncle's passing, JFK back in the day, you know? And so today all this media is coming out about how he's like demanding answers on JFK's assassination, and for years it's been maybe decades, it's been a thing about people have been pushing Trump and other politicians to release the JFK documents, and I think some stuff's been released. I'm not an expert on this specific topic, but I'm not going to pretend I am. But I'm just really interested in this. And like, so RFK Jr. believes the CIA played a role in assassinating his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. And that's part of the reason RFK Jr. is pushing his daughter-in-law, Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, for deputy CIA director. RFK Jr. has been telling people that Fox Kennedy, who was also his presidential campaign manager, would help get to the bottom of the JFK assassination, two Republican sources told Axios. So if Fox Kennedy were named deputy, she'd be in a position to dig deep into what the CIA could secretly know about the assassination and could urge release of the documents. And people have been pushing for this for a while. Like, I just think that's so interesting that how hardcore he's going about that. And that he seems dead serious. Like, it doesn't seem like it's like some conspiratorial type BS at all. Like, he seems completely serious. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe he knows way more than I do. Most likely, obviously. But I'm just saying, I'm just kind of fascinated by that. And I actually like him. I think he's an interesting guy. I think it's great, the health push he promotes. I mean, even though I don't think taking that picture after the UFC fight with McDonald's was the best move for him specifically out of all those guys, but it doesn't really matter. It's stupid stuff. But so apparently 95% of the CIA's records pertaining to JFK assassination have already been released, according to CNN, whatever that's worth. But I mean, who knows? Like, it could be, less than 1% that is the most damning evidence that could cause a freaking civil war. Like, I don't know. And that telling 95% of the truth isn't telling the truth. You know what I mean? Kind of like you can lie to someone and tell 95% not lie, Like, I don't know, that even seeing that and reading that just makes me like, what the fuck? Like, and so I'm not going to sit here and act like Trump hasn't kind of pushed this sentiment before, but this time around he's indicating that he's going to go full steam ahead with transparency on those files and has pledged to establish, quote, a new independent presidential commission on assassination attempts to further that objective. And maybe now that, something crazy happened to him himself, maybe he does want to like figure some crazy stuff out, and maybe he is thinking something real crazy. I don't know. Or maybe he knows something we don't know that we'll find out in the future. I mean, we'll see. This is going to be crazy to watch play out. This type of kind of information battle between very powerful people and forces. And to me, this is one of those huge reasons why I feel like the kind of establishment like world like does not want you to be a fan of Trump. They will spend every penny on earth to convince you he's the worst thing in the world because they don't want stuff like this going on. They don't want people with some power getting into position and forcing information out that they don't want coming out and stuff. Like, this is like not a joke. And this is like his family member. This is fucking crazy as hell. Like, so President-elect Trump feels indebted to RFK Jr. for his help in the election and is eager to please him. But there's real drama behind the scenes about whether Fox Kennedy is the right choice for the CIA's number 2 job. And like, so RFK is trying to convince this to happen. And I think he could pull it off. I think this will probably happen. And I'm not a CIA like type politics expert, but I think this will happen. And so, like, the backstory there is that Kennedy has publicly embraced these theories about the CIA being involved in the death of both his uncle and his father, RFK. And he said the evidence is overwhelming that the CIA was involved in the murder and in the cover-up. He said about his uncle's death in a podcast in May of last year. He also said that there is, quote, convincing but circumstantial evidence that the CIA was involved in his father's death as well. And apparently, media publications are reporting that there's already concerns being like seriously stirred up behind the scenes over the possibility of Amaryllis Fox Kennedy getting the CIA gig. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much deeper into anything. I'm really kind of excited to see Trump do the New York Stock Exchange bell tomorrow. And I'm really curious what photo they're going to use for his Time Person of the Year. Like, I hope it's not garbage, but I'm really curious. And dude, oh my God, I wish I had that chance to be the photographer of something that big and historic with all the notoriety and shit that's happened with this guy the past year or whatever. Damn, man, that would be such a gig. And just for your, resume kind of thing. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up. It's getting late. I'm an old man now. I got to get to bed. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. This was my probably longest podcast I've done yet. I feel like this was almost like an hour, or I don't know. I guess I'll see when I end the recording here. But follow me on Instagram at k.jachimowicz. Follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. They're on YouTube also. If you want to listen to them there or whatever, they automatically get posted on all these platforms. Leave reviews, good or bad. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death with talking too much about the Willow chip in the beginning of this one, but there was so much stuff I wanted to get through and talk about in this episode, and I hope you enjoyed diving into all of this crazy stuff with me. And if you have any critique or response to anything, feel free to DM me on Instagram, hit me up, whatever. Like, it's cool, and I'm down to have buddies on here. I'm down to have people online do a podcast with me virtually somehow. I'm down to collaborate in any way on technology, finance, the arts. You guys want to work together, collaborate on something like this with me, hit me up, literally. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Have a great night, guys. I'm out.